There have been numerous mysterious events throughout human history. As new scientific discoveries broaden our perspective on the knowledge and skills of our ancestors, and in some cases open it completely, they cause experts and people interested in the origin of life on Earth to sit up and take notice. One of the most fascinating academic disciplines in the world is archaeology. Archaeology can still be full of mystery and magic, even though it's not just about exploring the depths of ancient pyramids and caving systems. We've included some of the most fascinating and powerful archaeological finds from recent centuries in one video. Amazing discoveries do not occur every hour of the day or even every year. Even so, the people on this list have altered the course of history, frequently rewriting it and altering how we perceive or interpret ourselves, the planet, and our ancestors. Historic sites, sunken skulls, the oldest proof of life, countless human graves, vampires, and more can all be found there. Here are some compelling but forbidden archaeological finds that may change the course of history. The Antikythera Mechanism. This is among the most astonishing historical and archaeological discoveries on our list. The Antikythera Mechanism, sometimes known as the ancient Greek computer, was an astronomical clock that meticulously tracked the motion of the sky using spinning hands, interlocking gears, and several dials. Despite being discovered at the turn of the 20th century, it took scientists 70 years to determine its function. Archaeologists are still perplexed as to how the ancient Greeks could have developed the technology, which is thought to be 1,500 years ahead of its time. Next is the first chemical warfare. The Persians used chemical warfare in the year 256 AD, despite the fact that it is prohibited by modern military agreements. The Persians tunneled under the fort to breach its walls when they attacked the Roman city of Dura, present-day Syria. The Romans constructed counter tunnels to block the Persians' entrance, but the invaders also dug fire pits all over the tunnels. Poisonous sulfur dioxide gas was produced when bitumen and sulfur were added to these fires, stopping many Romans in their tracks. Next is the Sky Stone. Sky Stone is the stone known as the Sky. The stone was discovered around 1990 by geologist and archaeologist Angelo Pittone in Sierra Leone, West Africa. It is a strange blue stone whose origin was initially unknown. Pittone sent the stones to several laboratories around the world for examination, and all experts agreed that the blue stone did not resemble any type of rock known in nature, so it must have been artificially created. Italian geologists believed that it was very unusual to find a crystal in the diamond fields of Sierra Leone that resembled pure turquoise. Analysis carried out on this stone of heaven revealed that the stone was not made of any type of stone known on Earth. It was found to be 77% oxygen with traces of carbon, silicon, calcium, and sodium. This composition makes the sky. The stone looks like a piece of concrete or some other synthetic substance. It is possible that an advanced ancient civilization developed this sort of stone, given that the Sky Stone was only discovered in soil strata dating to at least 12,000 BC. The Venetian Empire. Captain Barbossa tells Elizabeth Swann in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, "You better start believing in ghost stories. You're in one." In the 16th century, many people believed in vampires and thought the bloodsuckers spread diseases like the bubonic plague. An extremely unusual image was discovered by archaeologists excavating a mass burial close to Venice, a human skull with a brick in its mouth. The woman's skull belonged to a person thought to be a witch and a vampire, so to prevent her from feeding on plague victims, the people of her time shoved a brick into her mouth. Headless Vikings of Dorset. Despite the impression that archaeologists is a subject for grizzled old men, the discipline is incredibly vibrant. Archaeologists excavating in southern England in 2009 discovered 51 skulls and 54 headless skeletons. The bones are thought to be those of Vikings who raided the English coast between 910 and 1030 AD. Local Anglo-Saxons probably defeated the raiders and arranged their bodies and skulls to symbolize victory. The Rosetta Stone, which holds the secret to comprehending the ancient Egyptians, helped scholars decode their language because it was inscribed with Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. The stone, which has been on display at the British Museum in London since 1802, is the most spectacular but not the only multilingual inscription so far discovered. Rapa Nui. Easter Island, commonly referred to as Rapa Nui, is a mysterious island in the Pacific. Rapa Nui, the furthest flung inhabited island on Earth, is renowned for the distinctive aesthetic design of its moai, which are enormous statues that honor the Rapa Nui's people's ancestors. When the Spanish arrived and tallied the population of Easter Island in 1770, it had 3,000 inhabitants, having been first inhabited by Polynesians in the 4th century. the population had strangely decreased to 111 people only a century later. Today, tourism is the main source of income for the island's permanent population. Tomb of Sunken Skulls. The purpose of a burial place in southwest Sweden is still debated among archaeologists. The dried-up lake bed, also known as the Tomb of the Sunken Skulls, is home to 11 buried skulls, 2 of which had stakes driven through their heads. The most likely explanation is that the bodies were transported to the lake bed by local nomadic hunters and gatherers after decaying. Some people think that they were enemy skulls displayed on stakes as a victory sign. Olmec Colossal Heads. Some of the most unusual archaeological finds are the enormous heads of the Olmec. The giant skulls, which were enormously cut out of stones, probably belonged to the Olmec people, who inhabited southeast Mexico for up to 3,000 years. The heads, which may be up to 11.2 feet, 3.4 meters tall, and weigh up to 50 tons, 34 Volkswagen Beetles, are carved with flat faces, fat cheeks, and distinctive headdresses to represent a leader. Oldest proof of life. Canadian rocks from Labrador that date back 3.95 billion years contain the earliest signs of life on Earth. Scientists have based their theories about the origin of life on Earth on 3.7 billion year old rocks discovered in Greenland in 2016. At that time, our Earth had only a primitive atmosphere and oceans from which the first evidence of life emerged. Geologists from the University of Tokyo stated that microbes created the materials found. The scientists focused their investigations on the detection of graphite, as previous research has shown that evidence of life is possible in graphite, which accumulates to form carbon isotopes. The carbon isotopes from the Labrador rock suggest that they were formed naturally and were not contaminated. The find in Labrador is 3.95 billion years old, 200 million years older than any other find. Moranjunga. Western Australia's Barrett Peninsula is also known as Moranjunga. It features a peninsula that is 5 kilometers wide and 27 kilometers long. There are 600,000 to 1 billion petroglyphs created by Aboriginal people. These so-called petroglyphs, which are said to be up to 30,000 years old, depict thousands of mythological symbols from Australia's indigenous people and pictures of animals that are now mostly extinct, like the Tasmanian devil, emus, and kangaroos. Since 2003, the World Monuments Fund had listed the Barrett Peninsula as one of the top 100 globally threatened sites. Since 2007, the petroglyphs have been recognized as one of the 10 historic sites that are most in danger. Since 2013, the National Park of the Miraju has offered them some protection. After industrialization, the area lost about 25% of the petroglyphs. The Ashurbanipal's Library. One of history's most important archaeological finds was the discovery of Ashurbanipal's library at Nineveh, the modern-day Iraqi city of Mosul. King Ashurbanipal gathered all Mesopotamian writings to create a hub for learning and knowledge. More than 30,000 inscribed clay tablets are housed in the library, which helped us better understand Assyrian, Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian cultures. Finally, the Voynich manuscript. One of the few manuscripts that have not yet been deciphered, even by World War II codebreakers, is the Voynich manuscript. The text is written in an unidentified tongue and is primarily illustrated with herbal and astrological images. According to what is known, it was most likely produced in northern Italy at some point in the early 1400s. These archaeological finds have altered the course of history, frequently rewriting it and altering how we perceive or interpret ourselves, the planet, and our ancestors. Despite the numerous discoveries that have been made, there is still much mystery and magic to be uncovered in archaeology. Leave a comment below with your thoughts and opinions on this video.